Alright, everyone, hello! So, I don't know when this is going to come out. This is probably going to come out before the second half of that Hungry video that I was trying to do. I've got pretty much everything recorded for that. I just haven't gotten around to editing it. But I was, during the recording of that, I briefly, touched on tactics, because I was, looking at a general, and I was like, I don't want him to have either of these, because they, give you a bigger chance of a bad tactic. And by bad, of course, I mean, like, not the most optimal, not the most meta. Now, that got me thinking about tactics, and tactics are intrinsically tied to doctrines. So, I started watching old videos, because those are the only videos around now, of, doctrines. And as I was watching those videos, I realized something that I don't really think a lot of people have realized. They just kind of look at these and they're, they look at these doctrines and they think, okay, they're good in some situations, but not all. This is good for tanks, of course. Breaking through, fast mobile units. Pretty much useless unless you have absolutely no manpower somehow. Very useful for both attack and defense. And you got stuff like that for everything. And they've been repeated over and over and over again. You want air-land battle if you have like a very proactive air arm. Lots of casts. You want shock and awe if you use a lot of artillery. You want integrated support most of the time, because this is soft attack bonus for the support company. I've said over and over and over again, me and everyone else, that this support company, this support artillery, gives you a lot more soft attack, a lot more bang for your buck in terms of soft attack. You want to use integrated support most of the time when you're going down superior firepower. Dispersed support? Okay. No one has really associated this with special forces, but you want to use dispersed support if you plan on going down a very focused path of special forces. Because you want the artillery bonuses from that. You want, with special forces, especially infantry, of course, Marines, you're going to have tank, amphibious tank divisions. But for Mountaineers and normal Marine divisions, you're going to want dispersed support, because you're going to want to have as much bang for your buck as you can get out of that much artillery. So you're going to want to combine special forces with disperse support, with research. With dispersed support, perhaps some self-propelled artillery. You're going to want to do it with rocket artillery, because rocket artillery just gives you more bang for your buck. You're concentrating a lot more force instead of a line. You're concentrating a lot more force in a pinprick point in your line. That's what special forces are for. Marines, you're concentrating your force on a pinprick point. You're going to want to put your Marines on a city like Qingdao, and then you're going to want to put your faster tanks, which don't have very good naval invasion bonuses. I kept on wanting to say penalties, but that's all they have is penalties. You're going to want to have your tanks be on the sides, and you're probably going to want light tanks so that they can be fast. 2 here, 3 here, surround Qingdao, take Qingdao with a combination of all your special forces. You don't need very much when you do it that way. So that's what superior firepower is good for. The left path of superior firepower. And of course, you can probably combine that in a really, really good way with air-land battle and battlefield support. Make dual-purpose fighters. Make a shit ton of them. Put them on CAS, and this will help you tremendously. So you can do a whole bunch of stuff with that. I mean, it's very, very focused. And, come on, let me get back to the correct tab. It's going to be very, very focused and probably very, very niche, but very, very effective. The main reason why everyone loves superior firepower so much, integrated support with shock and awe, is because the AI doesn't do anything to combat you. Like, they don't react. They just go on a set plan and they, just go. And in that situation, when you're pretty much facing off against all infantry, of course you're going to want a shit ton of soft attack for all of your stuff. Because that's what you're fighting against. Better for holding the line, better for mass pushes, better all across the board, and you can, make divisions that concentrate shit better. You don't need a really good tank division to counter like a rock, paper, scissors style superior firepower, because if you think about it, that's all mobile warfare is, a counter to superior firepower. You don't need it, because not against the AI, because the AI is stupid. And that's kind of the point that I want to get across here, is all of this is a rock, paper, scissors. Like, you may be thinking, like I do, like, okay, you got blitz here, you got these, hidden tactics here that no one really uses, except when they're like being a really sweaty player and trying to do their best to defeat you. Excuse me. You you realize that these tactics like aren't really well suited. Like backhand blow and breakthrough are the two breakthrough countered by backhand blow, counters ambush. Yes, breakthrough and backhand blow are the two most effective tactics, and you go through these and you realize, okay, well, Mobile Warfare Doctrine is basically all tanks. That's all it focuses on. There is pretty much no infantry stuff here. There is nothing in terms of defense. It's very weak in terms of defense. And it's all based on attack. Like, the best that you're going to be able to do is put up a standard 18 with infantry block with support artillery, support anti-air, is maybe some reconnaissance or and engineers, and then you're just going to be done with it. You're going to want the reconnaissance, of course, because you're going to want to choose a backhand blow, which is the only thing that you get in terms of defense. Like, admittedly, it's a really, really good tactic. Attacker damage reduction of minus 20%. Defender tactic damage. Being able to just take 20 or deal 25% more damage than you otherwise would. And being able to move, because that's what that is, tactics movement. Being able to move a hell of a lot quicker, like, that's all extremely good, but it's just combined with the shittiest of defense. Like, that doesn't fit well with Mobile Warfare Doctrine. Mobile Warfare Doctrine is all about the attack. This makes sense. This doesn't. So, and you see that everywhere. Like, you go over to Shock and Superior Firepower Doctrine, and you look at all of this, and you see Breakthrough. This is a doctrine that focuses on artillery. Why the fuck would you want a tactic that is basically solely for tanks? Like, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense when you realize that the developers were basically trying to make a rock, paper, scissors between the doctrines. Mobile warfare counters superior firepower because it just maximizes your firepower in a very small pinprick. And just artillery is not going to be able to, it's not going to be able to do much against that. Infantry and artillery, it's not going to be able to do much against that. A grand battle plan? It's kind of this middle of the road. Like, it could go either way. you've got all of these great bonuses, and they're not really targeted for anything. Like night assault tactics, this just makes your forces very, very good. It makes your infantry high in reconnaissance right here, high in attack on all fronts, high in attack during the night specifically. It reduces your supply. Where is it? Right here. Your supply consumption is absolutely insane. Because you just don't consume as much of it. So, what does this counter? I'll have you take a guess. I'll give you a hint. What is the best way, one of the best ways, I should say, to counter tanks? Fuel. If tanks don't have fuel, then they're not going to be effective. So this is all about choosing the best tactics available to you in order to defend and attack just enough to outlast the enemy's tanks, so that you can then use your infantry, because that's what this is all about, using your infantry to encircle the tanks during the middle of one of their pushes. That's how Grand Battle Plan counters mobile warfare. Superior firepower counters Grand Battle Plan. Grand Battle Plan also counters Mass Assault. Now, what does Mass Assault counter? Mass Assault counters both Superior Firepower and Mobile Warfare Doctrine. And I'll tell you why. This may not make sense to you at first, but it will make sense. You see, Mass Assault Doctrine also focuses on supply, but it doesn't really focus that much on night attack or reconnaissance, like Grand Battle Plan does. Instead, it hyper focuses on your infantry, which is why it's a really great tactic to use for China or Soviet Union or India or any nation that has a massive amount of manpower to spend. And what this does is, with its supply and with its organization and with its where is it? Recovery rate, especially that recovery rate on the attack. Reinforce rate, max planning. Where is that recovery rate? It's in here somewhere. Organization, max reinforce rate, max planning. Supply consumption, combat width. That's a part of it too. The combat width. You take up less combat width. You can fit more HP on a single tile. It's very much taking a card from Superior Firepower, just in a different way. Breakthrough organization. Recovery rate, light armored tanks, recovery rate, org loss when moving, reinforce rate. It doesn't seem to be, is it in this one? Am I misconstruing something here? Damage to enemy garrisons in our state. Recovery rate, reinforced rate. Yes, this is the one that does the recovery rate. Okay. So, oh, this also does the combat with thing. Okay. Now I can't find the recovery rate. Max combat with. There we go. Combat with. Combat. Okay, so they're on the same tier. Anyway. This deals in recovery rate, and it's all about infantry defense. That's all this is. You get the recovery rate so that you just wear out your enemy. And that's really good when it comes to defending against mobile warfare. Wearing out your enemy. The Germans lost in large part because they just didn't have enough oil. Their only oil was from Romania. And one way or another, it just wasn't enough. I think we actually bombed them. Bombed their oil fields at one point, but don't quote me on that. I don't know. But yes, that's what mass mobilization is all about. Just stall tactics. You want the manpower, you want the combat width, you want the organization, you want the recovery rate, you want to fit as much HP on a tile as you possibly can to wear out your enemy. And that works pretty much with everyone. And that's really good defensive doctrine there. But deep battle is both. You see, that supply consumption isn't just used for the defense. As you can see, as I went over all of them earlier, there are a lot of tank bonuses here. Breakthrough, supply consumption, organization there. You got some max planning, more tank bonuses, although I think I just covered those. You got more organization and more recovery rate. And you've got these tactics as well. Now, you may have also noticed that deep battle is pretty much the only other doctrine that has both breakthrough and backhand blow. So, in a sense, if you think about it really hard, deep battle is probably the most balanced out of all of them. It does a little bit of everything. It does, well, I shouldn't say everything because it doesn't really have anything that's for artillery. But it does have shit for tanks. It has shit for planning. It's the same in terms of supply consumption for infiltration. But this is not just for defense. It's also for attack. That's why you have the breakthrough there. That's why you have the backhand blow. That's the tactics. Mass mobilization is basically just Chinese tactics. The Chinese, they were on the defensive the entire war. The Russians, they eventually took their KV-1s, their T-Series tanks, all of those things, and they plowed into Germany. Like, what was it, within a year or something. This deep battle is a fucking amazing tactic. Now, admittedly, it isn't as flexible as infiltration. Infiltration is very flexible in terms of, well, first of all, your night capabilities, day and night, and it's your air arm and your navy arm. You get this logistics focus. Your air fuel consumption, your naval fuel consumption, your land supply consumption. All of that. You get tip of the spear for your paratroopers, your Marines, your Special Forces cap, Mountaineers, all that sort of stuff. You get your theater training. It's very, very integrated with, like, all sorts of, all three of the, the military arms. Land, Navy, and Air. So, personally, in my opinion, I like Deep. I haven't tried it out. I am very partial to Infiltration because I love Navy. But Deep Battle seems like it would be a great doctrine for a nation like Hungary, Austria, Czechoslovakia. Any of those nations, especially Czechoslovakia, because it has... excuse me. It has those bonuses for its tanks. Any nation that doesn't really have the capability, the need, or like the time or the effort to do anything even sort of meaningful with the other air arms, or with the other arms of the military. And Deep Battle, because it is so focused on just letting the enemy push, letting them waste themselves on you, backhand blow there, it is like the perfect counter to mobile warfare. At the same time, it's also a great counter for superior firepower because it just has that little bit of an edge in terms of tanks. Now, it's not going to win against Infiltration here with Superior Grand Battle Plan, because this, of course, is integrated military arms. If you have a shit ton of cast that are fighting both day and night to their fullest of capabilities against tanks and infantry, it's just... It's not going to... One is going to give out, and it's not going to be Infiltration. I'll say that. So you've got all these sort of rock, paper, scissors rock, paper, scissors interactions with the various doctrines. And you realize finally, oh, shit, that's what they're trying to do. Like, that's why infiltration is, like, basically meant for the attack. Like, with all three military arms, but doesn't have something as basic as breakthrough. This thing just focuses in the extreme on flexibility. And those are like the good ones. There isn't much to be said for mobile infantry. I've already talked about dispersed support and assault. I mean, it has breakthrough, which is like the best that it can be said about it. It's really just a poorer version of Deep Battle. A very poor version of Deep Battle. Because you're kind of going half-ass in that direction. I mean, you get this logistics company to all, like, but that's not, that's a defense bonus. Oh my god. That's a defense bonus. That's not even a bonus to the logistics company itself. Like, what that mainly does. That's ridiculous. Excuse me. But this seems like something that you would choose if you, I don't know, didn't have the capability of producing tanks, air, or anything like that. Actually, it focuses a little bit on tanks, which is extremely weird. The assault is an oddball. Mobile infantry is as well, but mobile infantry definitely has its place. Especially when you look at a country like Sweden. If you know what I'm talking about, then good for you. But yeah, this is sort of a revelation that I just had. Like, upon consideration, I think that Deep Battle, if I were to make a tier list, I would probably think that Deep Battle and Infiltration would probably be objectively neck and neck. I would probably have to put Infiltration on S tier as a matter of personal opinion. Just because of my preference for all the different arms of the military. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little tired. But yeah, that's... You can see what they were trying to do here, and you can kind of respect it. Like, I think that mobile warfare and mass assault doctrine kind of just get shit on way too much. I mean, everyone loves mobile warfare doctrine. It doesn't get shit on as much as mass assault, but everyone kind of just agrees that tanks, at least in single player, are a bit much. Like, way too much in terms of production cost, and kind of just I don't want to say infeasible, but that's the word that comes to mind. Not optimal, not cost efficient. Um, that sort of stuff, you know. But everyone loves it because fucking tanks, man. Tanks are fucking awesome. Everyone loves superior firepower because it's just so easy. And then dispersed support and airland battle kind of get shit on a little bit. Airland battle not as much as dispersed support. Because of the air superiority bonus that you get from it is just, you know, just plain good. You know, it's just plain good. It really helps in terms of like integrating your army and air force there. And you can probably find some really cool rock, paper, scissors type counters relating to airland battle, but I'm not going to devote the mental power to that right now. Of course, mass mobilization is just pure infantry defense. Deep battle, infantry, and tanks. Infiltration, everything. Infantry, tanks, special forces, mobile units, fast units, bombing, especially fucking night assault tactics, bombing all the way, Air Force, and Navy. Especially when it comes to your special forces, like the special forces cap, the marine unit design cost. It used to be that, this gave you a, some artificial, not artificial, that's the wrong word, some like arbitrary boost to naval invasions, I think. It was probably just the special forces cap. Oh yeah, it was, it didn't give you special forces cap before. It gave you like plus 10 to your special forces naval invasions, and I guess they got rid of that because it kind of just made the naval invasion tech obsolete. But yeah, it's very, very well-rounded. This is very, very well-rounded. But these are highly specialized. Assault, I haven't found like a specialization for it. I don't really want to bother because it's, everyone shits on it, and kind of for good reason, I believe, because I haven't found anything good about it. Maybe some of you can, but these are just my thoughts. Like, if the AI was a hell of a lot smarter with what it did, in terms of product, like if it actually produced really good units, and if it actually used them properly, then it would get a lot more mileage about out of all of the rest of these doctrines, and we would have a lot more dynamics. In terms of, which doctrine we choose based on what our economic situation is, where we are located, where we are located, situated, in terms of geography, our strengths, our weaknesses, all that sort of stuff, And it really just brings into context, why some of these things are seem just so shitty. And I kind of just wanted to shed some light on that a little bit more. I do want to say, though, I do want to go over a little bit about reconnaissance. So what reconnaissance does is reconnaissance and tactics is what I want to go over a little bit here. Because as I've been speaking, I don't think that I've really hammered home the point of like the grand battle plan doctrine, because you would think that with all of its flexibility, you would want it to have something like breakthrough and at least backhand blow, but it doesn't. And that's kind of because, well, it focuses on reconnaissance. When you have infiltration, you want reconnaissance support companies on your units. Generally, people frown upon the recon because all it really gives you is recon, which really isn't that special anyway. Of course, because they play against the AI most often, and it doesn't have any, real effect, right? And then also because, I don't know, maybe they just fucking use infantry and that's all they do. And these bonuses, these movement bonuses, these speed bonuses just aren't worth it to them because they're slow anyway. But when you consider it in the light of specialization of tactics here, you realize that that's how it counters something like mobile warfare. That's how it counters something like deep battle plan. Because these don't have good reconnaissance bonuses. You don't want to focus on reconnaissance with these things. You have infantry armies. You have pure tank armies, which are fast anyway. You have the perfect tactic anyway. You don't really want to have good reconnaissance in order to have the best tactic available to you, because you already have the best tactic. and you can choose that in your speciality here, your preferred, and your preferred in your field marshals and your generals, and generally that's just going to be fine to you, and you're not going to want to waste the extra production power on reconnaissance of all things. But Grand Battle Plan specializes in that, and it finds weakness there. It finds weakness because you can't counter breakthrough. I mean, you're going to be able to counter it with backhand blow, but you can't counter backhand blow. What you can counter is tactics like overwhelming firepower, or overwhelming fire with bonsai charge, admittedly, with which I don't think this has. Yeah, it doesn't have it. What you can counter it with is just all these other tactics, like Blitz. Elastic Defense counters Blitz. And then Blitz counters Elastic Defense, and you have Blitz here. Blitz and Masterful Blitz. Blitz. So they counter each other. Wow. Countered by Elastic Defense. Elastic Defense. Countered by Blitz. So you've got Tactics Movement. Okay. 15. So Blitz is going to have the advantage over Elastic Defense. Unless... Oh, they completely negate each other. Yeah, that's right. You got Elastic Defense and you got Delay, and that's countered by Shock. Which, this should have. If it doesn't, I'm going to be disappointed. Because it kind of undermines my point here. Okay, yeah. Defender tactic damage, shock, countered by shock. Do these guys have it? No. What does well-planned attack do? Attacker tactic damage. That's a very simple one. It has no counters. Wow. It has no counters. It's fairly simple, and okay, yeah, so that does actually go back towards my point then. Especially when you consider that logistics increases the chance of that being a preferred tactic. You know? But there are a number of different things that you can do with various different tactics, and you can really have some fun messing with those numbers, as long as you have fun messing with numbers. And you can really have some fun. Excuse me. With that sort of optimization there. Um, but that's why you have that entire thing is why you have weird things like breakthrough, which gives you massive tactics movement, massive attacker tactics damage, defender tactic damage, all of that shit. Um, in with blitzkrieg instead of mobile infantry, which could use that extra tactics movement. I suppose it does have blitz, but that's countered by elastic defense. Um, which is interesting. I didn't know that. And then you have backhand blow, and it's just a weird dichotomy. You know, you would think that your mobile infantry, you won't want to have your mobile infantry countered in. Oh, Paradox is just making it difficult for us. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they're just making it difficult. When really they're trying to create a really, really cool rock, paper, scissors system of counters within the game that no one really just pays attention to when it comes to Doctrines, you know? Everyone's just like, superior firepower is the best Doctrine because it gives you a shit ton of soft attack, and that's the end of it, period. It gives you a shit ton more concentration of force for as little as possible. Don't go disperse the support because that's the exact opposite. When, in fact, these things are specialized. Disperse support, specialized for high artillery divisions. Integrated support, specialized for front line divisions. Shock and awe, specialized for front line divisions. You've got all of these soft attack bonuses. It just goes straight towards your normal everyday divisions. And then you have this, which is specialized towards Army and Air Force. You'd probably be doing it a better service if you would combine it with dispersed support, air land battle, and then went for a high special forces build. And you have all of these really, really cool counters and attacks and counters and feints and all sorts of stuff that no one pays attention to. And I just wanted to shed some light on that. I realize that I've been rambling for 53 minutes now, but that's something that I realized. And that I wanted to share with everyone. Something, food for thought, something that I wanted everyone to think about.